Rumbalara, its origins are pretty long in time, and it does go back to our grandfathers and our fathers who played in the Cumragunja Football Club, you know, and the teams of the late 1890s and 1920s, 30s, and of course the 1946 team that played out of Mooroopna as the All Blacks after the Cumragunja walk-off. And so football and sports people coming from Cumra was always the heroes and legends of our people.
Before the club was established in '97 and we got into a league, we was actually playing in carnivals, you know, all over the state and also interstate as well. And remember when Uncle Paul used to pick us up in the bus, and we all used to get on the bus and travel over to the carnivals in South Australia and the Vic carnivals also.
We played in the night series with Katandra and Baruga, of course. But the dilemma was there, but we weren't affiliated in a league club, so they were hesitant to play us in this thing because we weren't affiliated in any club. So that's when the fight to get into one of the leagues here started.
So in the 80s we made applications then for Rumbalara to be, as a club, to be admitted to Victorian country football competition. And it wasn't until 1997 that we got the opportunity to have the club affiliated with the Victorian Country Football League.
We had a 21-seater. In that year of '97, we filled that bus up with all our footballers from Echuca. We took them over there and we involved ourselves around the Rumbalara history of the first club.
And this ground here was a tomato patch. Back in the old days they grew tomatoes here, and it was just all grass and vacant and nothing here. So, you know, they give us this ground and then developed it to what it is today, which is probably one of the best grounds in the competition.
It was just a little shed here, and then over the years we've ended up with this complex here, and we just do our own presentations. And years ago we used to have to go to higher places to have our presentation nights and that, and to build this here, and it's growing every year, and it's going to be our future for the year for our children's children to come back into this club. And yeah, it's growing bigger and bigger every year, and our kids, it's a future for our children.
So it's 20 years this year of competitions that we've enjoyed, and so the origins have been built on the passions of our mob, and it's still exhibiting all the passions. We've got 13 teams in the club, you know, 4 football teams and 9 netball teams, and they're getting filled every year, and kids are participating every year. And what we've got now is kids that have been born into the club. They've never known not having an Aboriginal football netball club around them, and I think that, you know, that's fantastic.
Well, it's a great achievement. I mean, I still remember when we very first game that we started, and a few of us girls made a banner. We worked all night on a banner for the boys to run through, and just remember that excitement and joy for having that first game, and it's been a great space for everyone coming together, just socially hanging out and connecting.
I think it's just really feeling really good about yourself, and just to be around, you know, the brother boys and all celebrating something together. So, you know, it's a success that we all get over the line and work hard for it. So, you know, through the footy season, so the 18 rounds, it's a long season. So it's yeah, it's a good feeling when you get to that line and you cross that line and together and, you know, kick some goals. So yeah, I think Rumbalara Football Club's come a long way. 20
years goes really quick, and you don't realise that it came up this year, and all the events we've put together so far. You just think back and have a think about, you know, all the achievements that the club has done over those 20 years. It's amazing where we've come from. was trying to get into a league, to now establishing ourselves in a very strong league, which is the Murray Football Netball League. And you know, it's fantastic what the club has achieved over those 20 years. You've got premierships, you've got mentoring programs, you've got the netball is doing really great this year, undefeated with the A grade, and also keeping that strong with the netball department, and also the football department with the juniors coming through and supporting the juniors.
Some of the real highlights, I suppose, is, and there's countless examples of young people that have used the club, or families that have used the club to create a better environment for themselves. So young people who might have been lost to, you know, the social despair, but having our own club gives them the opportunity to come in and address the things that they want to address. And I think that's been a highlight for me, to see young people stand up and, you know, take responsibility and look after themselves really well.
Yeah, 98, our first premiership year, the club was, you know, successful in winning first and second premierships. We both sides had a great year. We I think we finished first, and I think the reserves were second on the ladder.
That would have to be the 98 premiers. They won it both back to back. Yeah, that was grouse. I was second to seniors at Violet Town. I broke my ankle that year, but I was on the sideline and cheering them on. But that was, yeah, that would have to be one of the highlights I've seen through the club, back-to-back premiers, and hopefully see another couple back-to-backs.
Yeah, I missed out on the first year. There was the incident with the water bottle, as everyone knows, and this is for you, Uncle Paul, and that we're playing at Dookie, and one of the Shep East fellas come along and he hit me, and then this other fella, and I just said, "What did you hit me for?" And I just turned around to the two umpires and I said, "Oh," and they said, "Oh, it couldn't happen to a better people." And so I just went off, and that was it. And someone yelling out, "Oh, you're going to miss the granny." But I'm one of them players, I'll just go off and not think about all that stuff until later on. But the great experience of that was that the boys end up winning.
I think definitely the first, like, I still remember, even though I was 16, that first premiership win, because it's not just a win for the team on the field, it's a win for the community, and it's our presence in the community, you know, so certainly that was a great memory. And even like the 2014 Premiership, like again, like it wasn't one for the team on the field, it was one for everyone. And that was sort of saying, well, we're still here and we're still strong. We're not going anywhere.
Like, it was a hard year, like it was a struggle. We sat on top of the ladder, you know, and clubs wanted to knock us off. It was really hard because the umpires, you know, they tried their best to, you know, turn the game, you know, in free kicks and just not giving us a sniff, you know. We go out to play footy and when the umpires, you know, they make it bad for you, not bad, but they're not out there to play themselves, you know. So the year was really, really hard, and to play the final series, I remember the final series was great. You know, we won our fair share of games to the playoff in the grand final.
I remember us netballers winning 3 grand finals in a row. I think them 3 years, I know that Lindy won League Best and Fairest, which has never been accomplished in the history of Rumba or the league.
It was euphoric. We were, just the joy, the jubilation, you know, about being able to win, because you do it. You don't just do it for yourself. You do it for your community. You do it for the team. You do it because you're black and because it's a black club, and you just feel, you know, you just feel so proud, and the girls just loved it.
That celebration was not just about winning a football match or a netball match for that matter. It was about pride and respect. That's sort of what I felt.
It's pretty hard to say what the best thing is when it's sort of something that you've sort of, it's my life now. I've been here, I think in 97 I would have been 7 or 8. So the fabric of the club sort of, it's all I've ever known as a footy club. When some of my mates played other footy clubs and they talk about the stuff, and I just look at them funny. I said, I've never had that issue at a footy club before, because all I'm used to is having a cultural footy club where you see your family every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You know you're supported, you know you're culturally supported, and if something happens, you know you're going to get, they've got your back.
20 years? Yeah, no, I don't think it doesn't feel that long, but it's been awesome. 20 years to come into to make a footy club is an awesome thing, just for an Aboriginal point of view, to build a club and have your community where with you, to build it with you and come through, and like to go to Yea and Thornton, Neildon, and now we're going to Finley and Dunilliquin, and travelling wise, and we just get there and we all look after one another, and there's a big future in this club. There's going to be here around for years, another 20 years.
It's not even the big successes. It's almost the little successes. Is that we keep it going, and that we've got a club for the future. You know, we've got a club, our club, and we've got a club for our kids, and our kids are going to grow up into this club, and they're going to run it one day, and it's going to be for their kids. And I think the 20th year is a kind of milestone for that for me.
The 20 years has been a long journey, but there's been lots of growth within the club itself, and we've done some really great stuff in the community. Like, I was only talking today, like, if we didn't have the club, like, what would we be doing, and how would we be connecting as a community? And sometimes, like, that's a bit of a scary thought, to imagine the club not being here. So to have withstood, I think, like, the challenges and and having to, I guess, move the community forward. So I think the club's carried a lot of that on its shoulders as well, going, really creating that healthy lifestyle environment for everyone. I think that it's done a really fantastic job at still being present and able to do those things today.
Well, it's pretty special, This club is more than just a football club. It's a special place where, when you're working all day and every day, out in that, it's like another world when you walk outside those gates. And when you're here at the club, it's just a different place. You're amongst your own mob, and there's so much enrichment, I think, from that. You can express yourself. You're culturally enriched from being around your own mob, and it's a real safe place. So I've always, I've loved Saturdays, and I can't imagine, life without the Rumbalara Football Club.
Throughout the whole 20 years, the amount of connections I've made with Victoria, the friends I've made around Victoria, been accepted in Victoria, and I do believe playing with the Rumbalara football team has actually helped me to be more open who I am and what I'm about, and having my family evolved around the Rumbalara football team for as long as I have, to see my kids growing up and playing there too. I think that's all a father can wish for, to see his children playing sport, still playing sport, and picking up where I left off.
Personally, the club means to me as a community hub, not only about football, it's about catching up with your mob, having that laugh, gathering on this sacred ground we see behind us here, which is the Rumbalara Football Netball Club. Engaging in community, which the football club's really passionate about. Provides services not only with the football department, but also providing employment, mentoring, and also social gatherings, which is very important for our community.
It's an overall, great feeling with everyone within the community, and it's good to see the community participating and being part of the club and being here and, cheering on and our boys and girls and so on. So And we want to see that go right into the future, you know.
This is, I think, our modern day corroboree every Saturday on the netball court, on the football ground. That's how important I think the Rumbalara Football Netball Club is.
We'd just like to say it's been a deadly 20 years. Happy 20th anniversary, everyone. See ya. Bye.